I'm here with one of my favorite iconic action directors of the 90s to talk about his new thriller, Deep Water. Now, Renny, this movie is so much fun. It's like a classic 90s Renny Harlin action flick mixed with the old Irwin Allen 70s disaster movie. And you're back in the airport.
Is this what you were expecting?
Nah, this is just the beginning.
You're back with sharks. What drew you to this project?
It was exactly what you said, which is I grew up watching the 70s disaster genre, and this was my chance to do an homage for movies like Towering Inferno or The Poseidon Adventure, and that really inspired me that yes, I want to do the biggest possible airplane crash, and yes, I want to do a really scary shock adventure, but it's really about the characters. It's really about taking this collection of all these people from different walks of life, putting them into this extraordinary situation and seeing what becomes of them, what happens to their relationships. And I think a big factor was the fact that 5 years ago I got married, and now in the 3 years that I've been making this movie, I've had 3 children. So my life has really changed a lot, and I think it's given me a different perspective, different depth in thinking about love, relationships, family, and meaning of all those things. And those were the things that I really wanted to concentrate in this movie.
I love that you mentioned Towering Inferno because last year when I spoke with Aaron Eckhart, we talked a little bit about Steve McQueen and how he was an influence on him. And I really see a lot of Steve McQueen in Aaron's performance here. What was your experience working with him? This is not the first time you've collaborated.
I think I'm really fortunate to work with Aaron because he is a true professional. He has everything that you could ask for in terms of like a real character actor, like a real deep actor. He's not just, some muscle guy, but he also has the frame of a leading man, the looks and the frame and the ability. And when somebody like that, I find that actually that kind of people sometimes can get a bad reputation of being difficult or being aloof or something like that, because they show up and they mean business. They are prepared, they know the movie, they know the script, they know the scenes, and they don't really have the energy and time for actors who are not prepared, co-actors who might want to change their lines or who are questioning the meaning of the scene, because they've done their prep, they've gotten ready, they know why they are there, they know what the purpose of this scene is in the whole canvas of the movie. And they just want to have a director who is prepared, who knows what they are doing, where they expect them to be, where the camera is going to be, and do the scenes and do them confidently, and not stand around dreaming about it. So I love working with Aaron, and I'm sure we're going to work together again.
Now, going back to Jaws, great shark movies have always been about finding the balance of knowing when to show more and when to show less. How did you find that balance?
That's a really good question, and that's we all know the stories about Jaws, how the mechanical salt, Spielberg really had to show it very sparingly, and that actually ended up working for the movie because it was that mystery of what's lurking beneath, and of course that mystery really came from the fact that the actual mechanical shark and its functioning was the mystery. But it worked great. But I think that now, in the decades after that, the language of film has changed so much that wouldn't really work in a satisfying way in today's landscape. The audience would say like, oh, we are being cheated. So, you say it's a shark movie, but I don't see any shark. So in that sense, you have to go kind of almost the opposite way, and while you still want to have a certain amount of mystery, but then when you go for it, you kind of have to deliver the goods. People have now seen all these Jurassic Park movies and that kind of stuff, so they sort of expect also seeing and witnessing the spectacle.
If there's one thing that you really hope the audience gets out of Deep Water, what would that be?
Obviously, for Deep Water, I wanted to. My goal was to do the biggest airplane crash ever seen. And I wanted to do the most spectacular shock attack sequences. But in the heart of it, for me, this movie is about the people, about the characters. It's about love, it's about family, it's about caring about one another and discovering one another. And that's what I hope that people will take away from this when they walk out of the theater. They would feel like this movie actually, while it is a big action adventure extravaganza, but it's really about the humans, and that we learn something about ourselves by watching those characters.